Welcome back, baby. Marlon Speaks Live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, baby, we back. I'm back with another one, man. Um, Black fatigue. So this is a term that I really just started hearing a lot of recently. A lot of this stuff that we hear, like I think the first term I heard was like reverse racism, and I just came up with my own reverse thing too. Like reverse lynching. You know what I'm saying? I came up with that. Like if we did that, man, well, how would white people feel if we had reverse lynching? Y'all know what that is, right? Or I got another one. Reverse KKK. Like, and we call it ak. Like it's it's pronounced the reverse. And ox are, if y'all don't know, I know my black people gonna know, ox are black Muslims. It really translates to orthodox. Orthodox. So it's like okay, it's pronounced ox. So we call like the Muslim brothers in our community, a lot of them look like me. We call them ox. So the reverse KKK should be pronounced ak. Because if you like reverse the KKK, that's how it would sound. So I just wondered how white America would feel if we had reverse lynchings and reverse KKK. Like reverse hate. So the black fatigue, to me, it translates like the newest term of reverse racism. That was like, instead of addressing racism, they just going to say, well, what about reverse racism? Reverse race. Like, it's stupid. It's like reverse hate. Reverse hate is love. You know what I mean? Reverse racism is no racism. That's what reverse racism is. Reverse racism is no racism. See what I'm saying? But these people mindset is based on like fighting fire with fire. So black fatigue is the newest hot word for reverse rate. Like basically want to hold on to their hate, for black people, and want to explain, want to let us know how much they don't like us, or we should just leave. They're tired of us. They're tired of black people. Like for real, how y'all think our ancestors felt about y'all ancestors? That's the crazy. They're like, y'all, the descendants of these slave owners got a lot of goddamn nerve. And then we walking around with rapist slave owner blood in us that we can't get rid of. So imagine the rapist white fatigue we got that we can't even get rid of. This bloodline is in us. It ain't going nowhere. Yeah. And this is to see a lot of these videos I'm about to show. It's going to show white people that's saying this and black people that's saying this. And I'm going to break it down because there's so many of our so-called black people that hate themselves, don't know who they are in the first place. So they really don't hate themselves because, like I said in previous videos, you got to know who you are to hate yourself. To truly hate yourself, you got to know who you are. They don't even know who they are. And they hate who they think, who they have been told they are. So they don't even know who they are. They can't speak power of the truth because they don't know the truth of who they really are. I know who I am, so I'm a man made in God's image. I'm melanated. I'm not just black. I'm more than black. Yeah, if you got melanin, you more than black. That's just the word. So know who you really are. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. What you see is just some melanin, just some skin. That's nothing compared to what we represent. We represent the seed of humanity. We are the beginning. We are the Alpha and the Omega. We are black and we are the white people and everything in between. We are the before and during and after. We are everything. Yeah. We are the white people and the black people. We are everybody. And the Asians and every other mix of so-called people. We are everybody. So that's God. You know what I'm saying? In the spiritual sense, like that's God. So I know who I am, but a lot of these people that I'm gonna show in these videos, they lost in the sauce too. They think they really saying something, but they ain't saying a goddamn thing because they don't know who they are. But they got a lot of views on it. So I'm gonna show this lady or these ladies first. They speak in power of the truth. So this is a little different than what I was just talking about. They breaking it down. So, but I haven't seen this video, so you know I'm definitely gonna chime in on it, on what I see and what we both see and hear.
Thing they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this, because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs. She'll be watching her back for the rest of her life. Yeah, because that's not thuggery, hidrattery, animalistic. This is why people have Black fatigue. When you act like this, it's not normal behavior. People do stupid stuff. People say stupid stuff. That's life. It's not normal to threaten to unalive people because you don't like what they're doing. We're getting sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired. We're tired of it. But then whining and complaining and acting like it's not your fault that you act that way. Yeah, we're kind of over it.
Ooh. Anybody disagree with her?
I'm gonna give my take on that first, before, because I've never seen this video. So I'm gonna say this, man. A lot of white people so-called tired of our behavior. That's just what y'all see in the media, right? That's not all of us, for one. And like I said, the ones of us that know who we are way more than black. Like, we know that it's a purpose that we serve down here. So no matter who got a narrative to spin on so-called black people, what y'all think of as black, we really, y'all too, everybody is us. But let's just speak on what we are, how the words we use, white and black. So in the white community, this is what I noticed, because I've lived in white communities. Y'all got great PR. That's it. If so-called black communities had great PR, meaning we suppress news, we don't let certain stories get out, we keep everything hidden, it'd be kind of hard, obviously, because of like how a lot of our so-called communities are, But what I notice in the white communities, when I lived in the white communities in Tennessee, I lived in a real nice white community too, Spring Hill, Tennessee. I've never seen overdoses on the road. I never seen people slumped over in their car. All white people too. Slumped over in their car. Whole families of them. Whole families. I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 people in the car, passed out, going off that fentanyl, going off that dope. I never seen one article in the paper, on the news, about these. I saw the ambulance all day in this nice town. Never saw one article. It's the same way in Flint, in our white communities. It's crime happening all over. They keep stuff hidden. You will never hear about white on white crime like you hear about black, because they have a narrative. They won't even report it, because you know what? They're trying to keep the property value. That's what they care most about, property value. Property value is the most important thing, not people value, property value. They don't want to raise awareness to their issues in their community because they don't want to get the property value down. You know, there are people trying to sell their homes. You know, they can't have these crime statistics, you know, and they don't even report a lot of crime. I heard about robberies. And mind you, these like all white areas. So 9 times out of 10, according to Charlie Kirk mindset, if we in an all white area, it's happening. White people is doing it. I saw a bunch of white drug addicts. That's all I seen, but they didn't report it. So they got great PR in the white communities. That's one of the main reasons that we see the media. You know, a lot of people don't want to film when white people doing shit either.
Okay. Do white people have the right to be upset of the ratchet behavior going on in the Black community? She said a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, Mike, go ahead.
I'm kind of glad they're standing up for themselves. It's like they just was being weird with all the Black Lives Matter signs, saying shit that they really don't mean. I feel like everybody has a right to say and do whatever they feel like doing. And you do too. It's called free will. You can be.
Yeah. This is why I don't, you know, like his stuff don't generally show up on my timeline. I actually went out searching for his content or this content today. Yeah. See, everybody that got melanin, that don't mean, that's why I say we more than black. Because when you see some melanin, that don't mean we all think alike. Trust me. There's 10 people on this screen. Those are most likely 10 different perspectives. And on the continent of Africa, that is where you're going to see the widest range of DNA. The widest range of DNA is on the continent of Africa. So what that tell you? They are the most diverse people on that continent, but they are black, right? But they are not all the same. So trust me, just because we all got melanin, don't mean we all think alike. Trust me.
Be racist, your choice. I think you should allow people to be exactly who they are so you know who you're dealing with. I think everybody just like to be lied to. They don't like reality.
Okay. So did anybody get through her?
I think it's more ghetto fatigue, if anything, because if it can be black fatigue all you want, but I'm tired of all the ghetto hot mess too. So I see emotion.
I'm not tired of the ghetto shit. I love it. I don't live in it. You know, when I was in Memphis, man, like Memphis so ratchet, and I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like Florida, so ratchet, and I love that shit. Oakland, so man, I love that shit. Everywhere I done went, man, that remind me, because Flint is like that, right? So, but I don't live like that. So like, it's just like, you got to understand, this ghetto culture is really not ghetto. Like, that's just the word that we use, but it's really a hodgepodge of resilience and celebration and like how we channel our trauma, all in the same thing. Like, that's really the proper words to use if anybody's going to use a word. The three main words I would use to describe what we seeing with so-called the word ghetto. It's a lot of emotion that's tied into how a lot of people see ghetto. You know, it's definitely cultural, you know, but it's basically at the core of it is us trying to celebrate survival, you know, celebrating, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the fighting, that's acting out, you know, people not necessarily happy about how they live in them type of environments that we call, like, where the ghetto culture exists at. So a lot of times people blow up, you know, they do. In white America, I see a lot of it in traffic. You know, it don't necessarily play out like it do in black America, but I see a whole lot of disgruntled, crazy white folks in traffic, like acting a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, and I'd be very uncomfortable. You know, I'm always uncomfortable in traffic, especially in an all-white area. So that's where I see and feel the majority of the same type of stuff that they saying. The black fatigue, the ghetto fatigue, or whatever. We don't tend to video when we see white folks acting the goddamn fool in traffic a lot. But I actually videoed. Actually, I'm gonna show some of them videos as shorts on here.
Mostly in the black community. However, I see it with all skin tones. I educate my daughter personally to call people the color of wheat. We're all different shades of wheat. There's nobody that's black. There's nobody that's white. We're all different shades. We're all human. But it's the
I tell my kids we are black. Everybody black. Everybody originally from Africa. I don't cut. I'm straight to the point. I'm straight with no chase. Nope.
ghetto hot mess that is.
Originate from Africa.
I'm tired. I am tired of it.
I think there are more the black, like.
I would agree that.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Was it Ms. Freckles, her point that because the black community is already a small community, even when you have a small portion of people that's promoting the degeneracy, the ghetto behavior, the not knowing how to conduct themselves in public spaces, it gives a whole bad reputation for the black community in itself. So I think she's just saying, like, the black community, you really don't have room to be acting ratchet, ghetto, hood, and like you don't have any common sense when people before us.
Yeah, she got a point. I will say this though. Previous generations, they had so much restraint, and they still was hunted, and dogs got sick on them. Like, we gotta understand, like, within our culture, you know, because it, like, what they addressing is like the black fatigue within our culture, you know, and that's a real thing. But a lot of us, like I said, it's 10 people on there, so there's 10 different perspectives. So within our culture, we are sick of this shit too. Trust me. But with all that being said, you know, we have to take into account, you know, the historical relevance of you know, trying to fit in and trying to act like we got some manners and all that stuff. Like, at the end of the day, it don't matter. We can't do what European Americans or any other race for that point did when they come to this country, which is called anglicized. We can't be anglicized. We can't change our last name to some white name and then assimilate. And so why even try? You know what I'm saying? That's what I think this generation is, you know, starting with our, you know, hip hop generation, and probably, you know, like prior before that, right before the civil rights, you know, most of that generation, which was, you know, the late baby boomers and Gen X. You know, I'm in the Gen X. Like we said, you know, we're not trying to fit in. Why would we want to fit in? What is there to fit into? Like what are we fitting into? And who are we trying to impress? You know, that's what hip hop represent. Hip hop represent, like, we don't care. Like, what can y'all do to us that haven't already been done? You know, so it's like we was already at the breaking point. We've been, you know, getting in tune with self, you know, learning where we really come from, and looking at everything from a bird's eye view, you know what I'm saying, coming off of it and looking at everything from a different perspective. So we've been forced to do that. I think the black fatigue really translates from the white side is like they don't want to be forced to look within themselves and find out who they are in reference to us. And no, guess what? All of that superiority that y'all thought, like the fitting in y'all thought we had to do with y'all, no, it's actually the other way around. Y'all got to find your way within our culture, because this whole big culture is ours and the people included. Yeah, y'all come from us. So why would we need to fit in with some people that come from us? Everybody black. Y'all just a mutation of the original man. That's all that is. So why would we need to fit in with basically our little brother? You know what I'm saying? Our genetically, recessive brother. Why would we need to fit in with y'all? Because y'all was forced to have to leave the continent that y'all were on and come to where we were from to get the resources and the people. We didn't need to go to Europe. There's no need for Africans to go to Europe. We didn't need to go nowhere. Africa is beautiful all year round. We don't need nothing. So what do we need to fit in? It's actually the other way around. Y'all need to pull yourself together before y'all come. That's why our presence alone, no matter how y'all try to ignore us, our presence alone speak for itself. We don't even have to say a word. All we have to do is show up. And guess what? All the little stuff that Jumada was talking about before, you're not going to say. But nowadays, it's people starting to say it, which is a beautiful thing. I love the energy, like what this lady was saying, the first lady that talked.
Sacrificed a lot just to make sure that we can get an education and have jobs and have our families. The least you can do is conduct yourself like you have sense and like you've had people to fight for you before you even born. So that's that.
Yeah, but gentleness and dignity is not boiled down to just black people, though. Like, let's not act like black people are the only people fighting on cruises or the only people who have out of pocket behavior. So I don't like the term black fatigue, but I do think that, there is a group of people who exhibit certain behaviors that could go into that category.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. I ain't never seen no white people fight on no cruise line. Maybe it's my white people be fighting too.
They do be fighting. We just don't see it because you got Black Twitter and then you have the opposing.
But it's not a norm. It's not a norm for them.
How would we know?
Nikki, are you white? Would you know? I mean, I'm just saying, like.
Yeah. Well, I'm around white people a lot, and I'm around black people a lot. But let me first, I want to make my point about the video. I don't think that if I'm not mad, I get it. Like what's her name? Nara.
Yeah, Nara.
Nara. I do agree with her. Like I was kind of like, okay, I've been seeing white people, they're starting to stand up for themselves. But I don't think it's necessarily that they even think so much about us like black people think they do, that they care about the ratchetness because it's affecting us. But I think the main issue is we keep blaming them. And that's why they're on the speaker. Because they're tired of both behavior, but the main part is we're blaming them. Black people blame the white people for every issue and everything that's going on.
No, we don't blame them for every issue that's going on, but there's that.
I don't think we blame. I know I personally don't blame. Actually, like I said, all people are black. So I just think that their ancestors were so confused that they created this storm. And we have the right to speak up for our ancestors, for what their ancestors did. And like I said, we got rapist white blood in us. Yeah, all of us do. You can look at all 10 of them people. Guarantee you, I can look at just 2 of them and tell they probably got more than 25% white, probably most likely rapist blood in them. So, I mean, if that ain't, saying like something to blame somebody on, since we so sensitive about, committing sexual crimes, man, like they great. I forgot I can't say the R word. So they great our foremothers. Yeah, we can do a DNA, go back in time. I can look at all 10 of them and tell that they have a nice amount of rapist blood in them. Yeah, I hate to say it like that, but slave owner rapist blood in them. Yeah, I can look at them and tell. So, yeah, I mean, it's in our DNA who the culprits are. So I don't even know, how can you call yourself being fatigued by some people who carry the DNA of people that took advantage of them. I don't even get that. Like, y'all got a lot of nerve. That's the point I'm trying to, like, a whole lot of nerve. And then these people, even though they are black, they confuse. Because they will never bring up the kind of points I bring up. These are the kind of points that people like them, because like I said, it's 10 different blacks. I guarantee you, out of all of them, I guarantee most of them will dismiss what I just said. Yeah. When it's so deep. That seed, that seed of hate is so deeply embedded in us that it's actually in our DNA, literally in our DNA. We have people that hate us that are our ancestors. Yeah, that's deep. So a lot of them will never want to address that. Oh no, you know why? Because within our culture, they covet the light eyes. They covet the good hair. They covet the light skin. See, that's something that a lot of people within our culture, oh no, they don't want to talk about that. They scared to talk about that. You know why? Because as soon as the baby's born, do we got like how's the skin complexion? Do we got light eyes? Yeah. A lot of this shit start from birth. Shit, when we born, shit, we pretty much just depends on how fucked up, how messed up your parents' mindsets are, or you are as parents. When your kids, when these babies born, you will literally start. A lot of parents literally start looking at the ears to see how dark it is, and that'll determine how much hate they gonna feed their own motherfucking kids. Yeah. This shit deep within our community. So yeah. What fatigue these motherfuckers gonna have when we got our DNA is tainted with people that hated us? Got a lot of goddamn nerve. They tired of us talking about, man, we living with motherfucking DNA of criminals. How tired? Who should be motherfucking tired? These motherfuckers crazy. I swear they crazy. Got a lot of goddamn nerve.
Something that they played a part in, but we're not saying they're the total blame for that.
But nobody says that. Like
So
the
who's
loudest
nobody?
voices don't say that. The loudest voices are not saying that.
What are they?
I'm actually surprised you're saying that.
What are they responsible for today that we need to blame them for?
I will say that.
See, that's called a redundant question or a rhetorical question. You don't answer rhetorical questions. You do not answer rhetorical questions. Like, he's supposed to tell, but I get it though. He want people to share, what their opinion is. But what he's supposed to do was just offer the facts about why. I just gave y'all one example of what we can blame. Like, we are literally the living proof of crimes. Like, our DNA, none of us have all black DNA like we should. Like they culture is based on them being so-called pure. We are ones that's supposed to be pure. While we, our ancestors got they was on breeding farms. So come on, man. Come on. And a lot of that breeding went on with the slave masters. So yeah, man. So nah. What can we blame them? Like, but we ain't even blaming today, modern day white people for that. We blaming y'all ancestors. And y'all know that. But y'all love y'all ancestors so much, y'all don't want to admit that they the ones that created this whole storm. Y'all don't want to address that, white America. That's the problem.
To a lot of things that have happened throughout history, that does bleed into society today to some extent. I don't think that some of the segregation or some of the things that went on within the Black community, I don't think all of that has completely went away. Now, are there more opportunities for Black folks to succeed? Yes. Do I think that Black people play a part in their demise sometimes? Yes. But I also think that on the flip side of that, there is some truth to there still being some bias out there. There's still being some racism out there. And I will say that maybe it's not as blatant, and maybe sometimes white folks can be unintentionally biased when it comes to certain things, or they might have unconscious thoughts that they're not intentionally trying to be a way, but maybe they just are a certain way based off of how they were raised, who they were around, some of the things that they heard, and so forth.
So,
I think that's delusional.
so you think that so you think that white people are intentionally or unintentionally or blatantly or subconsciously causing harm to black people today?
To an extent, but everybody has bias. It's not just limited to white people. Black people have bias too.
Give me an example. Give me a real concrete example.
Of what? Being like unconsciously biased or like blatantly biased?
How are they causing harm to black people today specifically?
Have you heard of white fragility or like white tears? When we talk about corporate America or in the workspace, right? For an example, sometimes you do have, and I've heard stories like this where when black women have felt boxed in the workplace based off of how they identify, and a lot of that can be due to experiences or interactions that they've had with white women, or let's just say a white woman.
This is new to me. So.
Well, let me explain. For an example, you might have a white coworker who's very passive at work, but then, for an example, if a black woman addresses the situation, she could, now I'm intimidated, or she did X, Y, and Z, or she made me feel away. So there are some ways that maybe white folks can still be harmful.
I just dealt with that on my job. You know, a bunch of, it's like 2 or 3 white women gave statements. I'll be able to, when I'm at work, I feel free, loose. So I'm calm. I take anybody how they come. I don't care how they come. They come racist. They come MAGA. I don't care. These are my coworkers. I don't care. But I noticed they all ganged up on me. You know, they got the ganging up on me. And I work in the factory. So you would think that in that setting, it wouldn't be that, you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't go through that. She talking about the office setting, but in the factory. So like this black fatigue stuff, it's starting to play out in every type of workplace. You know, that's where like when he asked that question, and he asked it like he really don't care. Like he don't believe it. This video was 4 months ago. That's why I came out of it. But I'm sure the black fatigue that he act like he don't know nothing about, he's starting to see it. This is going to affect all of Black America, what's going on right now. They're trying to fire all the black people, you know, but actually it's going to backfire on them, you know, because all you're going to do is help. Anybody that you intentionally try to hurt, you're going to help them. You're going to help them, because once people start to look within and figure out what their purpose is, get in tune with who they are, and overcome, because that's what our people have always done. You can't hurt us by intentionally hurting us. You're only going to help us. So you might as well be nice to us if you're trying to hurt us. This is what I always tell these hateful people, just hateful people in general. You know, you going to help who you are intentionally trying to hurt, and you're going to hurt yourself. You know what I mean? You're going to hurt yourself at the end, because you aren't looking within. You aren't trying to figure out who you really are, what your purpose really is. Your intentions is always outward. It's never inward. You know, inward, like inward, like the N-word, inward. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm going to go to another video. This is somebody with a totally opposite perspective. It's amazing how white people can actually defend black people, and then black people actually defend white people, you know, on this topic. So yeah, check this out.
You guys know I'm pretty good at staying calm. As a person born into nearly every class of privilege, it's easy for me to stay emotionally detached from most issues. But I found an issue that broke me, almost speechless. Not because I don't know what to say, but because almost everything I need to say will get me shut down. That topic is all the rage on MAGA Talk. They call it black fatigue. Good news is I found a way to say what needs to be said without getting shut down. Because this is not a topic we get to sit out on privilege. Burn this image into your head, because this is our country's history. 250 years where they were victims of crimes against humanity, followed by an 89-year period where they
crimes against humanity. Imagine that. 250 years of crimes against humanity. Yeah, check it out. He got the graph up there.
they were technically classified as human so long as they didn't try to be a human in the same room as the ruling class. That was followed by this little green period. That's the period I found a way to say what needs to be said without getting shut down. Because this is not a topic we get to sit out on privilege. Burn this image into your head, because this is our country's history. 250 years where they were victims of crimes against humanity.
Yeah, so that graph, what it shows is from 1619. See, that's why these MAGA people hate that 1619 project, because it's just state facts. They're not talking about nothing controversial. They just basically compiled the history of this country and made a book out of it. And, you know, felt like it was so important. They wanted to teach some people, to open some people's eyes, to awaken people. Yeah, to awaken, like to, if you sleep, wake you up. You know, that's a good thing. So, to 1865, that was the years of slavery. So that's what, over 200, yeah, close to 250 years. Yeah, 246 years, yep, to be exact. And then this graph is from 1865 to 1954. So that's a little under 100 years. That's segregation, Jim Crow. That's when they came up with the Jim Crow laws. You go to jail if you don't get a job. You know, just basically slavery was just turned into incarceration. So you basically enslaved. It's in the Constitution too. You enslaved the 13th Amendment, I think. Yeah, you enslaved if you locked up. And then the green. So yeah, it's red, yellow, and green. The green is from 1954 to now. So basically, my parents' generation, the first generation to, but he's saying 54. That's a lie, because up here in Michigan, my mother remember going to the movies, and she had to go in the back door. You know what I'm saying? So that had to have been like maybe 1960. So my mother was born in 56. So if my mother remember a period where she had to go in the back door to go to a movie, that had to have been later than 54. So yeah, you play the rest of it.
Followed by an 89-year period where they were technically classified as human so long as they didn't try to be a human in the same room as the ruling class. That was followed by this little green period. That's the period where Republicans blamed them for the consequences of the red and yellow periods, while at the same time celebrating building a post-racial society. And now that this is being pointed out, MAGA people have fatigue in their homes that live outside of the red line district, fatigue as they go to the bank to deposit their inheritance checks, fatigue as they get hired for director of sales of their family's century-old business right out of high school. The fact is, when it comes to quality of life, every single metric measuring health, wealth, and happiness proves that the world we've built creates cruel and intentional barriers for Black Americans. Barriers built into every system we have, from health to education to employment to justice. And until those systems are dismantled and rebuilt fairly, we don't get to be fatigued by the work. You guys know I'm pretty.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. Real dope, man. Whew. I got another one I want to show.
Hey, man, it's getting spooky. I just came across something called Black fatigue. And basically, it's white Americans are sick of our shit.
I got news for you. Black Americans are sick of your shit. Black people are sick of Black people.
Yeah, so just like I said earlier, this is an example of what I'm talking about. You know, when you have Black people acting like him, talking like him. Yeah, man. Like he apparently don't know who he really is. So A lot of us think we point fingers at each other within our culture. A lot of it is so deep. You can look at his skin and tell he most likely, he the light skin. You got the light skin versus dark skin in our community. You got the good hair and the bad hair in our community. You got the light eyes versus a regular dark, brown regular eyes in our community. It's so much love for that gene, that gene of hate that came from the slave master that when they took advantage of our foremothers. That gene comes out in the form of like this man talking right now. That's what that really that's how I look at it anyway.
Shit.
Basically, society is saying that they're tired of how Black people are blaming things that have happened to us historically in the past. And they are also now adding different things that they have seen in society to that behavior as well, like loud mouthing or maybe, using certain words or certain.
Yeah, all it is, in our community, we call it the underlay for the overplay. And that just means it's basically gaslighting. Just think of battered wife syndrome. That's the easiest way for me to explain it to people, explain it to y'all without, going all into it where you just looking at it as black and white. Think of it as like battered wife syndrome. After you've beaten this woman, after an abusive man whoops on his wife so much and she's so docile to the point to where if she even think to stand up for herself against him, he can flip it around to her and she'll start to blame herself for it, right? He can always manipulate her into thinking, that's your fault. If you made me whoop on you, you made me do it. If had you not did, then I wouldn't. It's your fault. You know what I mean? So that's like when they talk about loud mouthing. Man, the lynching and the fear of being snatched up out of your damn home by a mob, that still goes on. The police do that to our people. Yeah, that's embedded in our DNA. That trauma is embedded in our DNA. Like, if that's all we doing is talking, then you got to know we ain't finna do nothing. It's the ones that's not talking that's gonna do something. And them y'all people, the quiet, it's the quiet ones that do something. That's who I be worried about.
Behaviors in public.
Black fatigue seems to be growing, especially within the Black community. There's a growing frustration within certain behaviors and more people are starting to speak up about it.
White people, Black people, Hispanic people are saying we have Black fatigue because of the behavior of.
There's always some blonde hair. I think these blonde haired white folks, man. Listen, y'all Black too. I'm sorry. Y'all come from Africa too. Y'all just the weakest of that genetic branch on our human tree. Please, y'all not special. You come from us. Actually, the first blue-eyed person was Black. Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah, the first blonde hair people were Black. It's a fact. All genes come from us. Even the Asian eyes come from Black people. Those are Black features. The Khoisan people in Africa. That's actually where all the people outside of Africa originate from. The Khoisan people. They are Africans. They are light-skinned, but they are 100% African. Yeah, that's where all of y'all come from. Y'all come from Africans. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But yeah, it's always a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman that thinks she can speak up for the white race. Oh, that shit.
Black people.
It's not racist
So
to
full
call
of hate.
Black people out for their behavior and what they're doing to society at this moment. I'm glad people are noticing this because it's been so many years and it's finally catching up to y'all.
So, is there some truth to it, or is it just another form of racism? And how come so many black people are starting to speak up about this now? Either way, we got a lot to talk about today. Now, black fatigue is a growing term in the social media world, a phrase that's meant to explain a rising frustration, dissatisfaction, and even resentment towards a small portion of the black community and some of the dysfunctional behaviors that are increasingly being called out. But here's the thing, this isn't a new term. The phrase black fatigue was originally coined in 2020 by Mary Frances Winters, a black author from New York. She was inspired to explore the concept after hearing the same phrase come up again and again from black millennials. I'm tired, they kept on saying. The exhaustion wasn't just physical, it ran deep, tied to emotion, history, and identity. In her book, Black Fatigue, How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit, she explains that the original meaning of the term was about the centuries-long toll of the systematic racism passed down through generations. Now that was the original definition, but now the term has taken on a complete...
Wow, that's crazy. I just learned something.
In her book, Black Fatigue, How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit, she explains that the original meaning of the term was about the centuries-long toll of the systematic racism passed down through generations. Now that was the original definition.
Okay, so now that I know the original definition, now I can say I do got black fatigue. Yeah, okay, I get it now. Wow, okay, that's the original definition. How racism erodes. Yeah, okay. Got you. But they then took it and made it mean something else. Like, they basically tired of black people. You can't make this shit up. Anything we do, they just take it and flip it around. Just like the Jim Crow song, like I was talking about on the previous video. The Jim Crow song, if y'all don't know, the term Jim Crow came from a song it's called Jumpin' Jim Crow. It's a song called Jumpin' Jim Crow. And it was the first platinum selling, most popular song in America. And it was basically a skit attached to the song where the guy that performed it would do it in blackface. And he got very rich off of this blackface routine. And it blew up. You had a whole lot of people wanting to imitate him so they can get some of the money that he got, because the reaction was so big. And so that's basically how, you know, the phenomena of the same thing with black fatigue, that's basically the same exact thing. Anything we do, they flip it, turn it around, make some content out of it, get paid. A lot of these content creators is saying it. A lot of these anchor women saying it.
But now the term has taken on a completely new meaning.
Now to black fatigue, it has recently been turned into a feeling that some white and black people have who say they are damn tired of foolishness of some black people.
It is a completely behavior based.
So it actually meant the exact opposite. Wow, black fatigue actually meant we were tired of the racism and the, you know, how it was passed down from generation to generation. But they actually flipped it into meaning, regardless of your stuff that you inherited generation to generation, we sick of your foolishness. Wow. Can't make this shit up. Look at her. See how like she really talking about something. She probably don't even know that.
Issue. And when white people, black people, Hispanic people are saying we have black fatigue because of the behavior of some black people, we've all seen it. We all know what it is. It's everywhere.
That's just like how they weaponize woke. I don't know, how can you weaponize being awake? That to me was the weirdest and strangest and scariest phenomenon. I said to myself, they don't like being woke. Like, who don't like being woke? If you alive, you should love being woke. When I heard them demonizing the word woke, I said, oh, we in trouble. These people want to be asleep. Sleep is the cousin of death. Basically, they're saying they want to be dead. So, man, so I didn't know that they weaponized black fatigue either. Now that I know the original meaning of black fatigue, I can start to say that now that I'm black fatigued. I'm fatigued of what my ancestors went through and the pain and stuff that they endured. And I got black fatigue. Yeah, I do got that. Yeah, I get it now.
There are thousands of TikToks on it, posts all over X, YouTube videos, and even some mainstream outlets starting to cover it. I only started hearing about this term very recently, and at first I assumed it was mostly coming from people outside the black community, but to my surprise, a large portion of the conversation is actually being led by black people, and that's when I knew that I had to do my own research by looking into this and sharing my take on it with you. Many of the most viral TikToks on this topics are coming from within the community itself.
Black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of black people, but it's two specific types of black people.
Well, I can tell y'all this, man. It's way more than two specific types of black people. It's a whole lot of us. We vary in range from the most intelligent scientists and engineer, like, STEM-minded type people, science, technology, electronic and math. We range from doctors, lawyers, professional people, all the way to drug dealers and everything in between, street people and everything in between. And we have a different type of lifestyle and philosophy and mindset that go along with those, those professions or whatever. So most of us, I'm gonna speak for me. I don't identify with no ratchet shit, but I love to be around. You know why? Because it's a form. I look at it as a form of expression. A lot of time, even the violence, it's a form of expression. I'm not scared of no violent, no, being in no so-called violent area. I'm very comfortable in the worst of the worst. There in Detroit, it's a place called Highland Park. I love Highland Park. I feel God in the so-called worst places. I feel the presence of God in them places more than any other place that I go to. I feel the devil when I'm in the nice, pristine, beautiful manicured lawn neighborhoods. I feel none but wickedness. So I'm very comfortable. Not to say like I want something to happen to me, but the point of it is I know how to be on both sides, like, and feel comfortable no matter where I'm at. Because I really feel like it ain't no good or bad area. I feel like it's all God, like this everywhere's our areas. Africa, that's why I like going back to Africa. And like I said, if y'all just now tuning in, I believe everybody black, everybody originate from Africa. So when I hear white people say, go back to Africa, no, you go back to Africa. My people came out of there, more recent than y'all people came out of there. Y'all people left Africa way longer. So y'all the ones that need to go back because y'all forgot where y'all came from. And y'all actually look so much different. Y'all don't think y'all came from there. So y'all need to go back to Africa. Yeah, go back to Africa and really assimilate into there. Don't go over there trying to make it look like America. Go over there and blend in and fit in. See how that works. That's where you need to go. So yeah, man. Black fatigue. Most of us, we just don't know how to communicate with all of our people at this point. We have a lot of us haven't been raised in the hood at this point. A lot of black people haven't been in the hood. Like a lot of black people at this point don't know what the hood even looked like. So that's where a lot of it comes from black people. But listen to this guy.
That everyone is tired of. Number one, everybody is tired of loud, ghetto, and ratchet, and violent, and mean, and angry all the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other black people do not want to deal with these people. When you see them in public, when they're going to give you...
I love him. See, he just never communicated with them. I talk to him every time I'm around him, and I feel real comfortable around him. When I'm in the hood, I speak to everybody at that store. I don't care. I don't care how they look either. I swear, what up? What up? Handshake, pound, what's good? I don't care where I'm at. If I'm in gang-infested LA and gang-infested Chicago and ratchet-ass Detroit, I love the east side of Detroit. Shit, what? Go up in there and I feel right at home. Yeah, well, I'm from a not ghetto part of Flint, but I'm from a decent part of Flint that understand that. I'm from Beecher. I'm from a suburban area of Flint, but we understand. We so close to Flint that it ain't too far removed. So I grew up having a great blend of both, of understanding the hood and also appreciating good shit. You know what I'm saying? I live in good shit in my adult life. I still own the home out where I was raised, and the neighborhood's still nice. I went live. It's actually on this channel, and I walked around my neighborhood. It's not the best neighborhood, but it's still intact. It's still, hardworking people around there. But yeah, this guy most likely never even communicated with nobody he trying to have a narrative on.
Attitude at the CVS, everybody knows it and they want to avoid it.
So how did we even get here? The answer to this can go in a few different directions. Let's talk about the most impactful factor of this, being the media. We're talking viral body cam footage of police encounters involving black people to dine and dash stories that reinforce negative stereotypes.
Surveillance cameras caught 3 people leaving without paying a $200 bill for a shrimp and lobster dinner.
See, that ain't. See, some of this shit ain't black shit. It's just, sorry shit. I'm sure it's videos of, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find some videos of white people doing the same shit. Yeah, I'm 100% sure it's ratchet ass white people that walk right out, but they don't even make a big deal about it. Yeah, walk out, don't pay their bill. I know a bunch of them. I grew up with a bunch of them. Actually, all the white people I grew up with, they was doing hard drugs in nice suburban areas. I didn't see hard drugs till I went to an all-white area called Shorts Creek, and I saw hard drugs for the first time. Yeah, so yeah, man, I'm sure it's white people that do the same shit.
According to the owners.
Or the countless of fights, whether it's on a street corner or inside a McDonald's. The majority of these clips tend to feature people who, look like me, and they also seem to go viral, often shaping how outsiders view blackness as a whole. This type of content has definitely influenced how a lot of people, white, Hispanic, or even black folks, view the culture. Unfortunately, over time, it's helped reinforce harmful narratives, and in many cases has been used to normalize different forms of racism. And let's be clear, we all understand that none of the reactions rooted in these stereotypes are justified, because it's not fair or accurate to take the behavior of a few and apply it to
Man, sickening, man. I never seen none of these videos, but yeah, apparently that happens in our community. It's sad and it's sickening. I can't stand that. So that's what they would want to call them. No, that's not what the original meaning of black fatigue was. That right there is just dumb ass criminal shit. They probably learned that young, right? So that's a more so a home issue problem. A lot of our people was raised wrong. They were, just to be honest. They wasn't raised, but a lot of our people was at this point. But the good ones will never be highlighted for just being good and going to work and take care of their kids. And there's more good ones out here of us than it is bad. So that ain't all of us. That's just a small percentage of us.
An entire group. However, when certain behaviors are caught on camera and go viral over and over and over again, they unfortunately start to paint an image of the entire community based on a handful of viral clips. Not because they reflect us, because obviously, I'm not on that. If you're black, you're probably not on this. At the end of the day, though, all the viral content is based on real situations that happened in the real world. Now let's take a closer look at some of the real world examples that have been fueling these conversations, starting with the dine and dash incidents. Now during the pandemic, or should I say the bandemic, in 2020 when the stimmy checks, the ban started hitting people's accounts and everybody started acting.
I couldn't stand that. I was telling my people that look like me, my melanated people, that bro, you can't make no lifestyle out of that. Like, bro, you really think that you can make a lifestyle out of some money that wasn't yours, like that you didn't earn? Like, I don't even know my personal perspective on that. If I didn't earn it, I don't want it. You know what I mean? No, I'm not with nothing illegal, none, no ill-gotten gains because you can't sustain it. It's not even about the money. It's just about can it be sustained? No, it cannot. So it's an illusion. It's a lie. It's like a mirage. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. So I was sharing that with a lot of my people, but man, a lot of people had never saw, you know, even the possibility of having $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at one time, man. Like that was a lot of money to a lot of people. But yeah, I realized that, you know, within our community, it's a lot of people that the morals are either compromised or just been so downtrodden, you know, never ever, you know what I'm saying, got out of the gutter and just, you know, would do anything for some money. But guess what? Them same people on the opposite end of the spectrum with the rich, greedy white people, they share the same spirit. That's why I say a lot of the people that so-called MAGA and they look up to Donald Trump, he businessman. No, he just like them same people that's showing on this video. His spirit and their spirit are the same. It's just Donald and people like him, they do stuff like that in a business setting. Like they steal and they do the pandemic, they go for billions. Whereas these people, they do it for some chips, you know, or a couple $1,000. But the spirit is the same. You do anything for some money. So
like Black Youngster when he first signed his record deal. Yes, the pandemic. Your money. We start seeing more of these so-called dine and dash videos pop up.
We've all heard of dining and dashing. That's when a customer comes into a restaurant, grabs a bite to eat, and then skips out on the bill, leaving the restaurant without paying.
For all my international viewers, dine and dash is when people go to a restaurant, stuff their greedy bellies with food, drinks, and all that you can possibly eat, and then they leave and they don't pay a single dime. This phenomenon or crime has always existed, but it became increasingly common in America after the pandemic.
They watched as the party of seven sat at their table, their food already packaged in to-go boxes. Then they began to get up and eventually run out the restaurant's door, leaving their $200 bill unpaid.
So these clips of large groups walking out without paying began to go viral after 2020. And as it relates to the topic at hand, unfortunately, the majority of the people in those videos were Black, and that obviously makes us look very bad. Now, is it all Black folks? Of course not, because we're not a monolith. The behavior of one individual doesn't mean the next person is going to show up in the same way. So applying that assumption broadly would be inaccurate. I mean, if you're Black, if you're watching this, I'm sure we're probably going to relate, but I would personally never go to a restaurant if I knew that my account was empty. I mean, at that point, we're having sleep for dinner because we're grown, okay? However, with that being said, one thing I've consistently heard from a lot of my friends in the service industry, I'm talking waiters and waitresses and even restaurant managers, is that Black customers are the hardest to serve. Now, this has not only been said by all races of people, but I'm saying like other Black folks in,
you know, and that misconception is, I'll say this, you know, when I'm out dining, I don't care who's serving me. I'm just trying to eat. I'm hungry. I do want to be served right, you know, and I'm always cordial, and, you know, my family, we presentable, we cordial, no, but what I've experienced is the exact opposite, you know, but we so used to experiencing, you know, racist, crazy, deranged ass servers, man, you know, we really don't even be wanting to make a big deal about it, you know, especially, you know, somebody handling your food, you know. I got this rap I wrote. So I pull up at the drive-thru and I pull up at the drive-thru and the worker acting all rude. But I'm trying to keep my cool, because if I don't, then this bitch might spit in my food. Man, this bitch might spit in my food. Man, this bitch might spit in my food. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my cool, because if I don't, then this might spit in my food. See, we think like that, man. We be nice. We you know, we try to take it, you know what I mean? But we trying to keep from getting loud and obnoxious and addressing it by, you know, because we think, hey, you handling our food. You can do anything. So, you know, that be the bind that we be in. You know, and usually if we felt that, we're not gonna say it during the times you bringing the food out. But some people, if they felt like that, they will address it when it's time to pay. So that's what I will say. Some people, I mean, that's just my personal experience. But I'm not, guess what? Even with that being said, if my service was horrible, I still tip. I tip, and I tip good. So with that being said, it's the exact opposite, But we don't shoot videos of that. You know why? Because that would be considered black fatigue too. We get to talk about this white racist waiter or waitress. Oh, we all always talking about, no, bro. Well, you can't have it both ways. Them people might have got bad service and walked out like, no, I'm paying you shit. Oh, that really happens. Trust me.
In the service industry are saying this, okay? Whether it's not tipping, sending food back too often, or asking for refunds after they've ate, it's often said that those things are more common among black customers. So that's the perception a lot of people in the service industry have of us, which is very unfortunate and it's very sad. I mean, it's not a comfortable thing to acknowledge or even talk about. I hate the fact that some people might expect a certain type of behavior of people who look like me as soon as, let's say, we might step into a spot, right? And although, the stereotype doesn't obviously apply to all black people like me or you, I can't, if you're black, that is, or if you're white, then obviously I ain't talking about you, right? I can't ignore the experiences they've shared with me. Now let's dive into the dine and dash stuff a little more. Because speaking of a particular incident, which was one of the news stories I played you earlier, it went viral a few weeks ago. A black-owned restaurant in Chicago called Flav's served 3 people, 2 women and a man, all black, and they decided to run up a tab of over $200 of shrimp and lobster, okay, and a bunch of drinks too. And then they decided to run out the spot.
It's actually disappointing. It's very disappointing to see that from the community that we actually serve, because we pour into our community. We're a small business, and I see this happening so often to a lot of different small businesses throughout the city.
Now, I'm not saying that doing this to other groups of people, regardless of race, is okay, but it's extremely sad that this was black folks doing this to other black folks. The young woman, the waitress who served the table, was a black woman who had kids at home, mind you. Her not getting a percentage of a tip literally means she's not going to be able to survive in this economy. Because in America, tipping isn't optional, it's survival. A lot of servers don't even make minimum wage. Their income depends on those tips. So when you dine and dash, you're not just...
And that's, what he talking about. What he talking about is very common within our community. Like we do each other bad more than any other people. I just know me personally, I don't hold nothing personal. I don't hold no grudges towards nobody. So whether you black, white, if you do whatever, man, I'm just gonna pray for you. I ain't gonna hold it against you. That's just not me, right? So especially if you black, though, I ain't gonna lie. Not to say like I'm a doormat or a pushover. It's just I don't hold no grudges. That'll hurt me if I hold grudges. So it happens, man. Within our community, a lot of our people, they be so messed up that they will do harm to you. They'll rob you. They'll steal from you. That happens. But it happens in every community, It does.
As in the system, you're hurting working class people, many of whom are black themselves, just trying to, make it through this world and this economy like the rest of us. By the way, really quickly, if you're enjoying this conversation, drop a like for the algorithm and subscribe if you want to hear from me and you want to see my ugly ass face, okay?
They apologized. They sent someone up here to pay the bill, but I declined to accept it. At that point, it was just like, we're gonna pursue this the right way.
And apparently they sent somebody to pay the tab on their behalf after they got exposed on social media. So you telling me that y'all didn't even have the decency to go in like grown folks and say, I apologize, I'm sorry, this economy is beating my ass.
Yeah, it's sad. Within our community, a lot of people commit crimes and they think it's funny. But I mean, my personal perspective on that is trauma is just a lot of people, it come out in different ways, a lot of people hurt people. A lot of people, when they hurt other people. Some people, when they hurt, they help other people. When they have been hurt, they help other people. And don't laugh about nothing. They take it very. That's how I am. Like I wasn't always done like how I do others, but I always say, I'm gonna make sure I don't do this, or I ain't gonna do that to other people. This was done to me. Let me make sure I don't do the same to other people. But within our community, a lot of us have been hurt. And so it's just a lot easier to hurt other people. It's hard to help others after you've been hurt. But that's the route that I think is worth taking. A lot of our people, just so happen, our parents, how we was raised, we was hurt while we was being raised. Like I said, with complexionism, mistreated because we dark skinned by our own parents, mistreated because we got nappy hair by our own parents, mistreated because our eyes not light, by our own parents and our own, family. We do that. Got a gap in your teeth. That in our culture, in the Black culture, if you got a gap in your teeth, they think you're a liar. White people might have never heard of this, but within the Black culture, if you have a gap in your teeth, like mine, you will most likely be told from the time you can remember that means you're a liar. So this kind of stuff, it start young within our community, and when you have been hurt, it's easier to hurt people because it's just easier. I don't know why, but it's real hard to examine the hurt that that was put onto you, and then in turn help others with that hurt. So it's a process, and that process is not easy. So a lot of people would rather not have to process pain and trauma and in turn hurt other people. So that's the breakdown of how that works. So yeah, that's how I can interpret these people walking out of this restaurant laughing, like it's funny, sickening, man. Where these people at? There they go. They walking
Optional,
out laughing.
it's survival. A lot of servers don't even make minimum wage. Their income depends on those tips. So when you dine and dash, you're not just finessing the system, you're hurting working class people, many of whom are Black themselves.
That's that same look that a lot of our young people have, young brothers have on their face when they done got caught and they in the interrogation room and shit. So yeah, I ain't with all the motherfucking dumb
folks
shit.
And say,
I'm just
I
breaking it down.
apologize. I'm sorry. This economy is beating my ass. Not that it would make it okay, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even have the decency to actually go in and show your face. That's crazy. They sent another person to pay because they didn't have enough courage to show their faces in the establishment. What a shame. Now, another story that went viral, again, featuring Black folks. Absolutely hate the fact that we're getting this type of PR, but it is what it is, right? This story involved 3 Black women, once again, in Chicago. Can somebody tell me what's in the water in Chicago with all these incidents happening? The audacity of this particular story is next level because these 3 women didn't only dine and dash after a $262 bill, they were also caught in 4K, strike number 1.
So the 3 women from Rochester, New York visited Soul Vibes in the Near North neighborhood to celebrate a birthday and left behind a surprise, an unpaid tab of over $200.
And they also made a reservation with their names, phone numbers, and personal info, strike number 2.
They were spotted on surveillance, leaving one by one within 30 seconds of the server stepping away. They also forgot that they signed up on the wait list before being seated, including their name and phone number.
And strike number 3 is that they actually went on social media and they thanked a Black-owned business for the free food that they stole, right? And that's how they ended up getting caught.
And to add insult to injury, they posted this onto social media, thanking the restaurant for the free food while laughing at waitstaff like Chloe Jackson.
You hear a lot of us screaming support Black businesses, and this is how we treat each other. It's so sad, and it's also really hard to ignore that these types of crimes are becoming more and more common in general. And the fact that it's a lot of melanated folks doing this to other people who look like them, I mean, it's a shame. What do you want me to say? I'm not celebrating that I have to make this video. Like, it's actually an uncomfortable video to make because I'm not happy to see Black businesses suffering because other people who look like them are literally stealing money from them. Like, I absolutely hate that I have to talk about this, and it breaks my heart. By the way, if you've been rocking with your boy for a while and want to support, just want to let you guys know that I dropped my first piece of merchandise recently. It's from my brand Blackie Apparel. As you can see, I'm actually rocking the t-shirt right now. If y'all want to support, the link is in the description below. But anyway, just want to let you know. Let's continue with the video. Black fatigue isn't really about race or skin color. It's about a culture, a mindset that some black people are choosing to embody. Similar to the YN mindset topic that we recently spoke about, which is definitely a great video that I would recommend that you check out. The YN mindset is a term that's, of course, coined by me at this point, which describes a youth-driven culture often tied to erratic behavior that more often than not ends up harming others, whether it's stealing, robbing, or just being loud and belligerent in public spaces. Now, this culture that I'm talking about is separate from blackness itself. I mean, we're talking about a fatigue with what often is called ghetto culture. And ghetto culture is not black culture, nor is it.
Yeah, let me break that down, because my YNs, I would say the artist that my son associated with, YNJ, my son produced like his biggest songs, Coochie, Triple S. If y'all not familiar with YNJ, it's YN space JAY. Look up YNJ. I would say he coined that term, YN. But YNs, it translates to young niggas. So this is nothing new. Like when I was coming up in the early 90s, late 80s, you know what I'm saying, 90s, the older generation was very terrified of us too. And just like with anybody, like any person, you can sense when somebody's scared of you. You know, when I was coming up, it was a lot of the older generation. They was using hard drugs. A lot of the older dudes, especially, was using drugs. Women too, and they was terrified of my age group. And my age group picked up on that and would abuse them. They abused the ones that they felt like was scared of them. Nowadays, it's the same thing. If you feel like if you give them the reason to think you scared of them, something gonna happen, you know. And you hanging around them all the time, yeah, you terrified of them. But it just so happened that we got a phone now. We got a phone with social media. We see more of it. It's nothing new. Like all of this stuff, actually, everything that I talked about on this video is nothing new. This stuff been going on. That's why I be telling people, man, like, no, that's not happening more. It's only because we can see it more that it's happening. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go all off into the YN thing that he's speaking on. I am curious, though. This is my first time seeing this guy content.
Foundational Black American culture. When I say the word culture, by the way, I mean it in the actual definition. And the definition is the shared attitudes, behaviors, and values of a specific group of people. This isn't about race. It's a mindset that anyone can adopt, regardless of a racial background. With that being said, I've seen this kind of behavior from white folks, Hispanic folks, and black folks, of course. So it's not about skin color. It's about class, environment, and ultimately how someone chooses to carry themselves. Because the way you choose to walk through this life, your demeanor, your energy, that's not only something you can control, but it is a conscious decision. We all have a choice in how we show up. So when I mention ghetto culture, I'm not talking about blackness. I'm talking about a specific pattern of behavior, which is undoubtedly dysfunctional and not a productive way of showing up in society. And a lot of it is often born from struggle, limited resources, and sometimes a rejection of accountability. And the accountability aspect is important because when Black people are constantly boxed into a certain identity by the world, but especially by each other, it creates a mental and cultural trap, which is ironic because, you know, that kind of makes me think about trap music and the fact that trap music is a thing. Because when you really think about the name, it sounds like the soundtrack for a lifestyle designed to keep you stuck, trapped in survival mode, trap music, trapped in dysfunction, and ultimately trapped in the lower levels of society. And often when a Black person within the community wants to grow, like they make a decision to actually grow or take a responsibility or move differently, they're met with pushback from their own people. They get told things like, you think you're better than us, or that's not how we.
Yeah. I experience that all the time. And you know what? I just pray for them, you know. When you're trying to help yourself, man, other people that's doing better than you are going to try to help you. You know, when you are not doing shit, no one wants to help you. The people under you can't help you. You know, they can't help you. It's impossible. Your peers, most of them can't help you. And nobody above you that's doing better than you want to help you because they like, oh shit, you don't want to help yourself. You're a bad investment. You know what I'm saying? People want to invest in some good shit. So, you know, you give something, you invest in whatever you think is gonna grow. You don't water a plant that you know is about to die. You know what I mean? You just let it die. And that's how a lot of our people within our community, when they see us, like what he just said, when they see us trying to do better, oh man, you think God think I'm living my purpose. It ain't about you or no other person on this earth. I'm walking into my purpose, bro. I got a destiny. I ain't gonna be here forever. I'm trying to take advantage of my time. What is you talking about? My time ain't got nothing to do with no man on this earth. None of our time do. Not necessarily, but it got everything to do with our legacy. You know what I'm saying? And our legacy is attached to certain people that we love, you know. So it's a lot of confused people within our community, man, that take you trying to better yourself as, you know, I guess a lot of people don't know who they are, and they believe the lies told to them about them. So they believe that they less than. And so a lot of our people want other black people to feel like they less than too. Misery loves company. That's how that works.
We do things. A lot of my black folks, I'm sure y'all can relate to exactly what I'm talking about right now. Elevating beyond who you used to be becomes a problem, and sticking with what you know becomes the norm, even if it means staying stuck in pain or dysfunction down the line. And the question is, why is this accountability issue even a thing in the first place, specifically within parts of the black community in America? Understanding this is not about making excuses, by the way, because we do have to acknowledge the subconscious effect of generations of instability and what it really does to people. When you grow up in environments where poverty is the norm, where instability is constant and neglect is a part of daily life, what happens is certain mindset start to form. You learn to cut corners because survival starts to feel more important than structure, and you begin to distrust institutions, which, to be fair,
it's sad. You know, a lot of our people think that they need to have certain material things to be validated. Not only do no man need to be validated by any other man, but it's just like what I was just saying, man. This purpose that we got, man, it should be so embedded, but a lot of people have never visited that, you know, that spiritual being that they are. They don't even know that they are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We make this stuff. This stuff don't make us. I got some pizza coming. Oh, yeah, I know. Thanks. Yeah, so, you know, a lot of us have never visited that part of us. So we only equate success to things that we could touch. See, we have never been told that we can manifest everything. Everything that you really believe in is right in here. Everything on the outside of us is an illusion. None of this is real. None of anything that we could touch isn't real. Everything that's in here is the realest thing. It really matter in here. If you can visualize it, it's really real. It don't matter what you can touch. You know, what you can touch is for everybody else, more so. You know, and to communicate with your vision, like from the first time you thought it till the time you get it. That's all that matters. You know, but a lot of our people never been told that's really what so-called black people represent. We represent the vision and the manifestation because we are the before, we are the alpha and the omega. Yeah, we are the beginning and the end. White people come from us. They are like the last to develop out of our DNA, out of the human DNA, which is really the black DNA. So a lot of black people don't know who they really are. They think, oh man, they think they niggas. They think they supposed to steal. They think they supposed to sell drugs. They think they supposed to commit crimes. A lot of our people don't know who the fuck they are. So that's the saddest part. That's where a lot of what the Charlie Kirks and a lot of these Nick Fuentes and all of them, when they speak on our culture, this is what they got to know. Or they unqualified to speak on our culture. They not qualified. Just like Beanie Siegel said, they not qualified. But yeah, man, I'm out of here, man. Mo B, baby. I'm out of here. Marlon Speaks Live, baby. We out this thing, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I was just sharing. You know what I'm saying? I was just sharing. Thank y'all. You're welcome. Yep. Thanks. Thanks. And I'm out, man. Y'all have a good night. Rest of y'all night. I'll be back, though. I'm probably most likely going to be on my Beats in Life channel. So check that out.